Who's going to step up for the Suns? I mean, Booker, Durant, Beal. Who's it going to be? It doesn't look like too good for the Suns. So stay tuned. Catch our key players. Where we give three key players each. Welcome to DFS Insights, where the game behind the game comes to life. I am David Geislinger, and alongside me is David Grant Jr., my cousin and co-strategist. The teams up on the block are the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Phoenix Suns.
With your lineup success as our top priority, this is where David and I will deep dive into our top three players that we like for this matchup. We will break down the strategy behind each of our picks, and we're going to share the insights that will enhance each of your lineups. And make sure not to miss out on the finale because we actually give out two absolutely free lineups that are hand cured by each of us. So stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, and yeah, that's what's going
Yeah,
on.
getting into it. This seems like it's Lakers Suns back to back videos here. So it's that's good. Got
Yeah.
all the information and everything popping up. However, Vegas wrong again. Suns coming in at the favorites and they got destroyed again. So with that, who's going to step up for the Suns? I mean, Booker, Durant, Beal. Who's it going to be? It doesn't look like too good for the Suns. So stay tuned. Catch our key players. Where we give three key players each. And with that, getting into this. Yeah, I don't even know really what to say. I expected, that must win. Now it's definitely a must win game four, or else they're eliminated. But figure coming into the Phoenix that they were going to put on a performance, and they did, just not the way I thought they were going to put on. So before we get
Sure.
any more into game four here, let's go ahead and cover game three. Minnesota came out 126-109, so a 17-point victory there. Edwards, Gobert, Towns, Anthony Towns, top three fantasy producers for Minnesota, where Booker, Beal, and Durant were the top three for there. If you did have your notifications on and subscribe to the channel, I did post that Grayson Allen was out and that Eric Gordon would have been a great substitute. He ended up fourth highest fantasy producer, so that's just another reason to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because we do post key information as it comes up to us. Getting over to the optimal lineup game three. No shock there. Anthony Edwards, third time in a row. He's the MVP. Devin Booker at the star. Bradley Beal at the pro. Eric Gordon and Mike Conley coming in at the utility. So as typical, here's our projected ownership. I'm pretty confident that these ownerships are pretty accurate. Give or take a few percentage here. The only one that to keep an eye on is Alexander Walker. His salary did go from 8K to 10K, so that's gonna drastically change his overall ownership there. He's gonna you probably see him more up in the pro and the utility as you see up on the screen here. So now getting over into the game four main stats. Vegas, like the Lakers. It's funny, they learned their lessons and the Lakers ended up winning as the underdogs. But Minnesota coming in at the favorites this time, 1.5 point favorites. Over under slightly higher than last game, 210.5. Minnesota's putting on a show both offensive and defensively. 120.6 offensive rating, 103.5 defensive rating. Pace is still a little bit slower compared to the other playoff teams at a 96.33, but that's what they're doing. The few key injuries here. Phoenix Suns Grayson Allen is still a game time decision, I believe. He might play. He says he's probable and questionable, so we'll see. He was able to work out similar to last time, but he ended up not going. And then Kyle Anderson, he's still game time, but he ended up playing in game 3, but only about, I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes. So I think Alexander Walker kind of replaced him in the lineup for right now. So with that, anything else to kind of go over main game wise before we get into our key players here?
Man, I'm just shocked that the Suns are down 0-3 and to the Timberwolves. I didn't buy into the Timberwolves, and I'm shocked. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal about to be swept out of the playoffs. I mean, and for all the jumping around that Kevin Durant's done, trying to get that elusive championship, not with the Warriors. Uh, he, yeah, just wild, man. I never would have thought. So yeah, let's dive into this game 4 and see if we think the Suns have even a shot, or if Minnesota's going to go ahead and take this
Hey,
one
we
down
got
as a
room
sweep.
for Durant on the Kings if he wants to come over.
Yeah, always,
Yes.
always,
So with that,
always.
go ahead and start us off. Who you got as your first key player here?
So my first key player, I am going back to Mr. Bradley Beal. Um, he is, man, even last game, was arguably their best player. Devin Booker did have one more fantasy point than he did, but Bradley Beal is just shooting the heck out of the ball. He did exactly what I was hoping he was going to do. He shot 5 for 11 from 3 point. He put up the most field goal attempts out of anybody on the team. That's more than Durant and more than Devin Booker. That's what I wanted to see. And his minutes also went up slightly. So I can see him playing another 43-minute, a 45-minute game. They're on the brink of elimination. So, and the good news is his salary did not change. It was 12.5 last time. It is still 12.5. So, I am happy to see that. Um, I'll be overexposed to the field with him. You can put him at the star, pro, or utility. Um, MVP, yes. If you're doing 15, 20 lineups, maybe one or two. Um, but he definitely fits, primarily in the star and the pro. Maybe one or two in the utility, but I'll be going star, pro, and overexposure on the field. As far as having to pick one Sun, a lot of my lineups might be, you know, well, we'll see the lineup with the salaries changing. That does change things. So uh, we'll see. But I've been finding my builds actually being a little Sun heavy, and not because the Suns are going to win, but just because I know they're going to get the minutes. So that's my first guy. What are your thoughts with Mr. Bradley Beal, and who do you got here for
Yeah,
your
no,
first guy?
I like Beal averaging in the playoffs here. 41 minutes, 40.9 minutes. His usage is up there too. I think it's 20, about 20 on the usage. So yeah, kind of everything you want. He's shooting the ball really well, and usually you're used to Booker 40-point game, Durant 40-point games, but I don't know what seems to be happening. I mean, they're still doing well. Booker and Durant are doing well, but they're not putting on, where you see 50, 60, 70-point games. And then, but Beal, he's consistent here. I mean, this is technically the fourth game. This would be the fifth game in a row that they've played. The last game of the regular season
Yeah.
was also against Minnesota, keeping in mind that Minnesota had no starters in. So, he did get 59, fantasy points there. But, he's averaging, what's he averaging here? About 32 fantasy points. So that's pretty
Oh,
solid. I'll agree. Star Pro there. I mean, if you want to drop him to utility, I mean, I would kind of like to see a lineup there, the other players above him. But MVP, I'm gonna
yeah.
say it like I'll go with my first pick here, Mr. Anthony Edwards. I'm locking him in.
Yeah.
If I did 10 lineups, I would go 9. Like Anthony Edwards, he's been MVP all the first three, the 3 previous games. And it just doesn't seem like the Suns can stop him no matter what they've tried. He's only gone up 500. He was at 15K last time. He's at 15.5, which is insane. We just covered the Lakers game, which they have 3 players over that. Jokic, Davis, and LeBron are all over 15.5. So I don't see how he's not a 17K
Yeah.
player. So he's averaging 39 minutes. Usage is 30.6. I mean, that's insane. He's averaging 50
Right.
fantasy points, and he's projected, 43.6. I can clearly see him getting another 50-point fantasy game. He's, I don't see anything. He's averaging about 20 field goals, per game, 6 of which are 3-pointers. So yeah, he's at 28 points, roughly averaging a game, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. So I mean, you can't really ask any more from the guy, and he's doing it consistently.
Yeah.
So for me, not to have the confidence that he's also going to be MVP in Game 4, like I said, I'll cover 1 or 2 lineups maybe, but I'm going heavy on Edwards. At the MVP, so
Nice. Yeah, that is a good approach because you can either win you can win a lot of money that way, or sometimes it kind of wipes you out. But I take that approach.
I'm going to eat the
well.
chalk. I mean, obviously he's going to be
Yeah.
super chalky there. So
He's
what is it looking like? He's averaging in the MVP about 42%. So
okay, so it'll probably be even more at this point. Probably even a little bit higher, I'd imagine, this game. Before I give my opinion there, just a quick stat correction. Just so you know, when Bradley Beal did have that 58 fantasy point game, everybody was in that game, Kevin.
Really?
So for both sides, Timberwolves, yeah. Edwards played 35 minutes. Gobert played 32. Towns played 29. McDaniels 28,
nice. Okay,
and Conley
I
27.
mistook that. I'll
So
note that. Okay.
yeah. I just want the crowd to know, it was, it wasn't because of Scrubs being on the floor. He's been the shining star more or less in this matchup to me for the Suns.
Okay.
So, but the Anthony Edwards pick, love it. I'll be over the field just like you. I will be in probably 8 out of 10 lineups, MVP as well. I really don't see, like you said, I'm going to eat the chalk there and look to make a difference somewhere else or in 2 other spots down the line, because Edwards has just been too consistent. And, I do think that the Timberwolves are going to win. And if they're going to win, that typically means Edwards is going to do really well. And, yeah, great pick for sure.
Nice.
I'm with you on him.
Going over to my second pick, I'm going full onslaught Minnesota. I don't have any confidence left in the Suns. I thought they were going to, pull up the bootstraps here and, buckle down and get a win in Game 3. But, Lakers did it against the Nuggets here in Game 4 to kind of save their playoffs hopes. But, I mean, honestly, the Suns really haven't been competitive in any of the games. Lakers have at least led. I think I heard the stat, like they were led 140 plus minutes out of the games. So they've led basically, and then they just blow it at the end. But the Suns have just looked, they're playing catch up the entire game and falling even further behind. So with that, I'm going Mr. Karl Anthony Towns, but with the terrible pause. I was going to say terrible correction on his spelling, but I'll just redo.
Oh.
I'll just redo his. I'll just put a new graphic. I'll just put a new graphic on it. So I'm actually going
For
to go
sure.
back to this. So, okay.
This.
Three,
Okay.
2, 1. Yeah, so going into my second pick here is going to be Mr. Carl Anthony Towns. I do like him coming in at the star pro position. He is at 12K, which is typically where he's been at, you know, consistently the last 3 games as well. Only averaging 24.7 minutes. His usage has been very nice in those minutes, 25.7. He's averaging well above the 1 fantasy point per minute. So he's at 30.7. He's projected about 33.3 this time. But yeah, I wish he was getting 30 minutes because it would just be insane what the fantasy production he could possibly do. At 30, 35 minutes there. But for what he's doing, 20 mid 20 minutes, I'm going to live with it at the 12K salary. I do like him both at the star and pro position. He does have upside. I'll probably, I think, keep him in more of the pro position. I'll have him at, but yeah, he's coming in. He's shooting about 11 shots, 4 of which are 3-pointers, averaging 16 points a game, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. There, so I mean, just like Anthony Edwards, I think he's gonna, have another great game. It doesn't seem like they can stop him. My only concern with him, I think it happened in game 2 where he got into foul trouble, and he kind of basically sat out the entire second quarter, which obviously hurts fantasy production there. So keep your hands to yourself. Play smart basketball and get those fantasy points for us. So yeah, that's what I like for my second pick. What do you think of that? And then we'll get over to yours.
Right on. Yeah, I like that pick a lot. It's kind of was a toss up. And again, I'll have some exposure to Gobert as well, obviously, but I think the ownership play is going to be going Carl Anthony Towns because of the injury, because of the lower minutes. All those things kind of factors in as he's ramping his way up. He can still do damage in limited minutes. As in the game on 420, he played only 26 minutes, still had 34 fantasy points. He just, even last game, 23 minutes, 35 fantasy points. So if there isn't any way where he does get, that upper 28, or if he happens to break 30 for the first time, that is going to happen here at some point. They're going to ramp him up, 3 to 4 minutes, as they're doing this, as he feels good. So it's going to be great to have him there. And with that salary being 1,000 less than Gobert, that also lets you do a couple other things. So great pick. I'll have lots of exposure to him as well. I'll be moving him around. I'll be moving around, really all over the place. Primarily star pro utility, and primarily probably pro. I know that's probably where he'll be chalkiest, but I will move him around to star and
He's only
utility as
averaging about
well. I don't
17%
see.
though in the pro in the last 3 games, so it's not even that
Oh,
bad. I mean,
beautiful.
11% utility, 17% pro, 6% star. So
Oh, perfect. Yeah, yeah. If that's the case, yeah, anything under the 20% mark is great. So, and again, yeah, that pivot because everyone's trying to fit Gobert, I think right now instead of Carl Anthony Towns. So, great pick. That'll actually segue over to my pick. I'm actually going on the other side of the ball. I'm going to Mr. Josef Nurkic on the Suns. Um, so Minnesota is giving up about 40 fantasy points to starting centers. They're also giving up over 10 rebounds to starting centers. And, you know, I don't know what it is going on with Nurkic. He is one of those guys that can get you 15 fantasy points, and he played 24 minutes. That was, the first time they played this season back in November 15th. But then they played April 5th. He got 26 minutes and had 46 fantasy points. So, he he has that upside. He also hit 41 fantasy points in the game on April 14th. And then he's kind of just been, unfortunately only averaging like 27, 28 fantasy points in the last 3 games. Uh, so he's going to have to step up and have a game if the Suns want to extend this series at all, or at least have the game be competitive. Um, you know, no team wants to go out, losing by 30 and being swept. So, uh, but, being swept, and especially a Kevin Durant team. Well, I guess he's kind of known as a baby, but either way, I think he's a great pick. 11K. He's right there, right below Towns. Um, I could see him getting some more minutes in this game as well. Uh, yeah, this is their last chance, man. So their starters should be seeing as many minutes as possible, as long as he doesn't get into foul trouble. Um, I could see, he's going to be lower owned. I really like him in the pro, a pro utility, and a little bit in the star. I won't go higher than star. Um, but with the Suns' rotation is much smaller than Minnesota's, so that's the reason for when you see my free lineup for having more Suns uh, than Timberwolves, because Timberwolves are deeper, and the Suns rotation is not. So yeah, that's my final pick. What are your thoughts on Mr. Josip Nurkic
Yeah,
yeah.
nah, Nurkic, yeah, I like him. I mean, it's tough because coming in, I mean, even at 11K, and he, like you said, he hasn't broke over 30 fantasy points, and there's 7 other players. I mean, mind you, they're a little higher salary, but there's 7 players that are averaging higher than him on the slate. So, and one of them has just got bumped up to 10K, which is Alexander. Then you have even McDaniels, who's averaging only about 2 fantasy points lower than him, is actually 2K less than him. So yeah, Nurkic, dude, step up. Like they need you. Really, what's I think killing the Suns in this is rebounding.
Mm.
If you look at it, I believe last game, looking over here at my stats, Timberwolves had a total of 50 rebounds to Suns 28. I mean, right there,
Huh.
that's game.
I mean, yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
so
Yep.
Minnesota had
100%.
15 offensive rebounds, 35 defensive. So yeah, they need him. They need him to start, getting those double digit rebounds, as he can clearly do: 14, 10, 19, 10, 15. Can't have games with 5, 4, 7. So I definitely will have him in a few lineups, but it just doesn't seem like the matchup is there. I mean, with Gobert down there, Karl Anthony Towns, and even Naz Reid, who's down there as well, I just think it's a very tough matchup for him. Does he have the potential still to go off? Yes, but um, with the other players available, I might, be okay not having him in as many lineups there. But yeah, I think if the Suns are even going to
Yeah.
attempt or be viable or even potentially have a chance to win this game, he needs to at least be on the glass. Like he needs double digit rebounds at least.
Oh, yep. I agree. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
so there you go. Nice on that
So,
one. Who do you got to wrap it up here?
no, yeah, we've done my three. I started with Beal, then we did Edwards, and
Oh,
then
I
I
didn't know
got
you.
Nurk.
I didn't know you
Yeah,
doubled on Edwards.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, no, cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
just kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
Just trying to
Doubled
give
on
the
Edwards.
audience an extra key player here. So yeah,
Extra.
moving over
Yeah.
here to my third and final play. This is going to be a sneaky play. I'm kind of curious to see how it pans out. This is more like I wanted to look. I wasn't really feeling uh, really anybody below like 8K. Like Eric Gordon would be, at 85. That's really based on if, Grayson Allen plays. Naz Reid is okay, but Royce O'Neal hasn't done anything. Kyle Anderson's become replaced. Drew Eubanks, obviously not really there, but really there's no one there. So it's kind of looking at the game 3 and Mr. Josh. I'm not even try to pronounce that. Okogie came in and he only played 9.2 minutes. His usage in that time was actually pretty nice, 29.4. Obviously averages only one game, but he's only projected 3 points, so I think this could be like a sneaky play, especially if Grayson Allen's out again. I think that he could see extra minutes. He was really good defensively and on the Timberwolves. So, at 6K, it's purely going to be based on, using him to get, another 10 points, but using that low salary to, add to the top, be very top heavy. So, I need him to have, another 10-point game, kind of like, most of the lineups have been doing, just having that one player sneak in at the bottom who doesn't play. But I think if Grayson Allen doesn't play, he's going to get, another probably 9-10 minutes. He came out game 3. He did show really good. He, defensive wise, and he put up, 3 attempts, 2 of which were 3-pointers. I think he got to the foul line twice. So he ended up with 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. So, if he can just get a little bit better performance there, that 6K price tag is going to be huge. So that's who I think, just, that shot in the dark player kind of. So what do you think? What do you think about that sneaky play? You got to scroll all. Most people don't even scroll down this far to look for players. So
yeah, definitely. I think if we're looking at a guy, as you mentioned, basically under 7K, like that's the guy. He's the one who, if they are going to make some type of change or someone gets some extra minutes or the Minnesota blows them out, and with 5 minutes left to go in the fourth, they're up 25-30, that type of thing. Okogie is going to get on the floor and see some minutes, and we know that for sure. And then, as you mentioned, with his usage, he probably would have the highest usage out of any of the other, again, I don't like using the word, but other scrubs or bench players that would end up being out there. So, depending on what your game script is, that would be pretty much, even no joke, the one and only guy under 7K I would attempt to put in a lineup if I were to be making any. So, yeah, great pick.
Nice. Yeah, I hope it pans out. I'm not going to go, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go every lineup with him, stack heavy, but, I'm definitely going to have him in a few just to hopefully, it pans out. But, yeah, so, those are the key players here.
Yeah.
Before we get into, our lineups, please make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. It does help out the channel, quite a bit. Get us put out in front of more people, especially, we're basically putting out a video a day here to cover all these playoff matchups, give everybody hopefully good information that they're using and helping generate some good lineups here. So and if you're just joining, welcome to DFS Insights. We just gave out 6 key players, 5. We overlapped on 1. So if you have any questions or you think our lineups are good, bad, what are we thinking, go back, watch those key player breakdowns, and you'll understand where these lineups came from. So with that, further ado, coming in at our lineups, looking pretty good. So looks like we overlapped on a few players, different multiplier spots though, but looking pretty well. So with that, like I did mention, these are 2 free lineups. These are viable. We are going to be putting them in. So, if we did win, you would be tying with us. So keep that in mind. If you do enter them in, let us know in the comments below. Like, you're entered in, you feel confident in these lineups. These are viable lineups. We enter them ourselves. We're not just giving, trash lineups, so everybody can put them in. So,
yeah.
like I mentioned, we're covering basically every day we're putting out a video here. The 10K to first slot looks like we get one more Lakers Denver game. So David's happy because he had prior arrangements, so he missed the last one, so he wants to get one more in here. So that'll probably be the next video up. So keep that in mind. Make sure you like, subscribe, and you'll never miss a video. So with that, good luck, and David, take it away.
Yeah, good luck to everybody out there. I've been getting lots of good feedback from family, from friends, and from friends of friends. So please, hey, even if you guys don't watch the full video, all you guys that even just want to go check out the free lineup, just a quick like goes a long way for us. David and I do put in a lot of time for this, and we're here to help you. We are here to have a good time, but we also want to make money, and we want to help you make money, and make watching the game just a ton more fun. So yeah, just a like, subscribe, notification bell, just as much appreciated, goes a long way. Tell a friend, and hope to see you guys up there at the top. Good luck, and we will see you on the next one.